talk about Ethereum. And right now, an IPO is happening in Switzerland, and they've already sold 10 million Ether. So you can easily do the math. Do is divide 10 million by 2,000 and multiply by 625, and you get how much is raised. So they've raised $3.2 million. So what's Ether and what's so exciting about Ether? Well, you can actually read this post of mine. I discovered Ether on July 19, 2014. And Ether was basically in development end of last year and this year, so it's brand new. And ultimately, Ether is a Web 3.0 framework that is decentralized. It removes basically all the different potential controllers from it, and every computer basically running Ether, running the platform, creates this new hub. Okay, and it has security. So what will you be able to do with Ether? Okay, so in this post I explain, well, the biggest thing that will happen with Ether is going to allow me to do something that I've been talking about for 4 years. Right? For 4 years I've been talking about something called the Open Innovation Framework, or the Open Startup Innovation Framework, or the Open Incubator Framework, right? These were all different names for an Ether-like environment, a decentralized bottom-up environment. So it will allow us to disrupt the top-down centralized startups and replace them with bottom-up decentralized Foundups, and other things. It's going to remove the VCs and accredited investors as pivotal. They will no longer be pivotal for launching innovation. The crowd will become pivotal. Money and who you are, yes, can influence and help, but ultimately it's going to happen from the crowd. And ultimately, one of the key things is it's going to remove gatekeepers. And it's not just individuals, but organizations. Because right now, innovation, and I use innovation 2 different ways. You'll notice I use the I in the exclamation mark. The I up here, pivotal for innovation, is launching top down or bottom up. So the exclamation mark means bottom up. Without the exclamation mark, it means top down. You know, Ethereum and Ether is the currency, will allow you to put currency into any currency, right? It's ubiquitous currency. Something else I talked about over 4 years ago when I described the Foundup dollar. You'll be able to do anything you want with a Foundup dollar. Well, now the Foundup dollar will be tied to Ether, and you can do that. It's going to disrupt the grids. The grid are very specific things, right? The grid are, for example, there is the global educational complex. That's part of the grid. There's the global agricultural complex. There is the there's the global banking complex, financial complex. All these massive intertwined, top-down, in a way, good old boy networks are going to be disrupted, and they will no longer become important, creating this brand new world. And this is validation. So on the 19th I talked about it. It's happening right now, and they've already raised 3 million, and they've got 40 days to go. So within 1 day, within half a day of their launching, right, they've raised basically $3 million. And this money is actually buying the currency that is also going ultimately fueling this new environment. So it's kind of like people are buying the new dollar, right? So think of it this way. People are buying the new dollar for a new system, based out of, and Ethereum is run by a nonprofit, um, and a small group of developers. Now, the interesting thing is this: is it turns out that around the end of December, around the end of the year 2012, I shared in great detail everything I was wanting to do with Foundups and the open innovation, or the open incubator framework that I was working on, with one of the founders. And I left kind of detached, thinking, you know what, I'm not going to get it. I can't convince coders to jump into this. I can't convince, developers to come develop for this. Well, the good news is in my discussions with Mihail, obviously, um, what I talked to him, what needed to be done, now can be done. Because when I listened to Stefan talk, right? Watch this video on Stefan. You can click here and watch this video. Stefan talks about some very crucial things. These are things that I shared 3 years ago with one of the co-founders, that in order to have a ubiquitous system, in order, as I quoted with him, okay? All right, as I quoted, this is what I said to him. I said in the message, I said, listen, I want to show you the next web paradigm, not only for launching ideas, but the way we interact on the web. Okay, a decentralized bottom-up solution, right? I'm the creator of OIF, the Open Incubator or Innovation Framework. This is, in many respects, OIF on steroids. They have created something far bigger, far more important than I could ever have thought of, by taking a little bit of what I had and inspiring them. And I know OIF is in there for the very reason they talk about stakes. They talk about currency being able to move from any, um, you know, um, to any state, right? They talk about something, the validation, basically from likes and follows and everything else. That's something I, described 4 years ago as part of OIF, because it creates something I call passive crowdfunding. It means that from now on, when on Ethereum, the potential is this: is you have an idea, and ultimately it starts to raise its money. You won't need business plans. You won't need a few. You're going to ultimately be able to secure that funding, and in such a way that it is, it'd be very hard for specific individuals or groups or organizations to, from stop it, because it's decentralized. The key operating word is decentralized. So I recommend, is what I recommend, if you can, get yourself a Bitcoin, $500, $600, right? I would recommend that you, get a, buy it. Now, if you don't have $600, what you can do is, I'm trying to crowdfund some money so we can buy Bitcoin as a pool. So what we can do is you can put in $1, put in $1 a month, $5, and what we're going to do is buy Ether together. And you can visit this link here and go to foundups.com and put some money in, and I'm going to invest this money into purchasing some Ether, because Ether ultimately is what's going to power Foundups. So having your investment now over the next 40 days, in order for me to crowdfund a pool of money in order to buy Ether, that, by the way, everyone who buys into Foundups, I am gifting equity in the corporation that's going to have, corporation that's basically going to write the platform for Play Foundups. So right now, I'm pulling together a development team. We already have 6-7 developers in line. We're building Foundups on a brand new right? Play Foundups and something called FX, which is Foundups. It's a widget that's going to run on all the browsers. And you have an opportunity to be part of it. You have an opportunity to invest in it at foundups.com. If you can't buy Ethereum, at least help me realize my dreams. In the body of this video, you can ultimately read my posts. I wrote these posts before Ethereum was out, right? On the 19th and on the 21st. And here is the validation. So Michael Trout is right once again. Ethereum is going to be huge. And I want you part of it. Watch them. In 4 years, 5 years from now, this is going to be what people are going to be on. It's going to be Ethereum. My name is Michael Trout, sharing you some exciting news from the ether.